Brad, we'll start with the injury update. How's Tim Parker look?
Yeah, good. I mean, obviously today was a lower load day, so we got him a little bit involved in the warm up and part one of training. So, yeah, a little bit of caution for sure. The question mark remains: do we risk Tim Parker, to play the game, or do we stand to lose him over more weeks? So we still have a couple of hours before we make a decision, and we might think of adding somebody to the roster just to travel with more numbers and just to make sure. So yeah, I think we're pretty well prepared both ways.
And then presumably Blom, as he comes back from his situation, probably not available this week?
Yeah, he's been released from the health and safety protocols, so which is good news. Now the bad news is he's missed 10 days, right? So depletion, health, your fitness, everything takes a bit of a whack. So you have to make sure that, how do you bring Jabulo on accordingly? So for us, we'll manage today, we'll manage tomorrow, and then make a decision if it makes sense to bring him or not. And listen, Jabulo at 60%, still, we still would like to see him in some form or fashion. But it's questionable whether he travels or not.
So then with that in mind, and then with Hebert gone and Perez gone, just whether not necessarily a test, but a example of your depth will be put to work this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we knew last week with Tim out, we were tested a little bit. We know this weekend we'll be tested in many other ways. So we know we're playing away from home, but we're just trying to focus. And I think we've had a very good training week with taking care of these scenarios and coming up with different combinations, formations, and just trying to see which piece of the puzzle fits best for the game on hand that Salt Lake poses to us. So, but I feel we're just focusing on us right now rather than the opponent.
Well, then speaking of us or you, how is the team continuing to be able to focus on the job ahead?
Yeah, just don't settle down. Don't arrive on Monday morning think that we've arrived. I think we try and hit a hard reset button every single day after the match day weekend, whether it was favorable or not. So we have to, still be, diligent enough to do our homework in terms of post games. And while it's been pretty rosy from the results standpoint, we know we have things to fix. We know there's it's not just we might have celebrated our first clean sheet, but Roman comes up trumps one big moment in the game. So we're trying to mitigate all these little moments. Because we're striving for great things, and if we have to do our homework and we have to make sure that we're prepared, we planned, and make sure we execute. So it's a lot of good reflections through the week and keeping guys humble, keeping them honest, and showing reflections of games where it might not have been great in training. So we've done a lot of IDP stuff this week as well, just bringing guys along individually. So not as many team meetings and team-based stuff. So it's been focused a lot on the individual this week.
Bradley, do you guys do anything different to prepare for playing in the altitude?
No, I mean, listen, to prepare for the altitude, either you have to fly there, 10 days in advance. Some teams arrive the latest hour possible and play the game. So, we feel we did this last year with City 2, and I've done that trip a few times. So, I think with the intensity we play at and with the style of play we play at, I think we just need to be strategic and smart about how we go about it. But it doesn't play a role at all for me.
Speaking of traveling, after Austin and Portland, what have you noticed about this team when traveling together?
Yeah, just the cohesion with the group, right? So, normally these travels can be long and tedious, and especially when you're traveling, a couple of hours in the plane, and it becomes, the flight might be 4 hours, but the whole day is 8-9 hours. So it does challenge you, it does test you, but the guys have been great, and I think just one of the benefits of having these guys in preseason, having some guys early on, during the year last year, just to get to know each other and just to keep guys coming along and to nurture young guys who've never had these experiences before, and as well just getting acclimated with what's coming our way with getting used to travel. So we have a good, honest group of guys, and we keep each other entertained.
So with the way the injuries and the international windows kind of worked out, there's been a lot of questions as far as the depth on the back line or the midfield. Kind of the opposite with the attack. We've seen a whole lot of success. I think there's been 7 different scorers from the attack primarily. And so how do you handle rotation? How do you handle formations when you have that more or less healthy roster of your attacking players.
Yeah, I think Tim, does he correlate to the attack as well?
More or less, but
Yeah, so just thinking about that, we feel, as a collective, we don't just defend with defenders and we don't attack just with attackers. So, we have a complete game model where we try and get everyone connected, everyone moves as a unit, everyone's ball oriented, and we go from there. So, through the chaos and through the style of play, we just try and obviously use games strategically with different weapons, and we have some good weapons in place. So, I mean, Rasmus Alm poses a different threat to a Thomas Ostrak, right? So, I think we've been able to show that against different opponents to bring on different players, whether it's one striker, two strikers. I just feel that this group is learning every single day what's required from them. They're getting used to good reps of, I think we've obviously the 4 games now plus the 6 games in preseason. So we've had, a 10-game snapshot of MLS opponents. So for us to go against, every team's getting fitter, stronger every single week now. And the rustiness of preseason is out the legs. So we're going to get the best versions of every team we're facing, whether RSL have a few guys gone and missing. Also, they have a few guys gone and missing. But we're expecting the best of both worlds, and that's up to us as coaches to make sure that we're getting the best pieces in place to feel that we put ourselves in a position to succeed.
Coach, just in general, you guys have put yourself in a position to succeed. From the outside looking in, it seems like you guys have all the answers, but I'm sure coaching in the MLS, you're still learning along the way. What are some of those lessons you're still trying to pick up on, and what are some things you're still maybe struggling with to learn as the year gets going?
Yeah, I think, how much do we focus on the opponent? How much do we focus on us? I think that's been primarily, obviously guys and even for some of our staff, that haven't been coaching in the MLS, or even for the players who come from Europe, great pedigree, great experiences, but haven't played in the MLS. So there's the balance of how much do we focus on ourselves and how much do we focus on the opponent. So we're just trying to find the good mixture and a good balance, and I believe staying true to your principles, so we don't really want to cover every aspect of the game. We don't really want to cover, we just want to be with what helps us, what hurts us, right, within our game model and game principles. So yeah, if we're watching and scouting opponents and the opponent plays in a totally different way to us, so we take maybe small little nuggets, but again, we try and relate that what we see on our practice fields, and now bring what we saw, bring it within our game model and in our way. So, and credit to the boys, everything that they've taken in terms of information, they've absorbed really well, and we work pretty hard at it. We work pretty hard at video meetings, on game, tactical preparations, training. So we like to think we're doing a decent job with the periodization. So in terms of soft muscle tissue injuries, we don't have a ton, right? I think there's a lot of I don't want to talk, other teams and what have you, but, you just see injury updates every single weekend. And yeah, we just sort of, want to keep our group hungry and healthy, and which creates a lot of depth for us. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, certainly excited. A couple of the players mentioned that after San Jose, it was your most overall performance, your best performance, if you will. Portland, though, was a pretty impressive win, specifically going on the road. Yeah. Is San Jose the blueprint you look at, or when you go on the road to Salt Lake, do you look more at that Portland game, the resilience you guys showed going into a hostile environment? Yeah,
I think it's, just the different philosophies, right? So if you look at RSL, they pose different problems to Portland. They pose different problems to San Jose. And, I showed the boys this morning a slide of our running distances. They were actually down, okay? But the intensities were high. So, it's not just a case of, hey, guys, empty the tank and run until you can't run anymore. And after 120,000 meters, let's see where you are. No, we actually got the distance down, but the intensity levels were at an all-time high. So, within the action of the sprint, the first sprint for us is the most important. So yeah, it was another week gained for us in terms of our development, and we try and pick up and get better every single game day to pick up pieces of information, pieces of data, pieces of statistics to try and iron out all the little issues that we're having along the way that we speak about internally, and then trying to get it right the next time. So yeah, we keep each other honest.
So you mentioned a lot of game planning takes yourself into consideration. You focus on what you guys do and know best. You've kind of rolled out what seems to be formations on the road versus at home. Is there any kind of correlation to the personnel you roll out when you're at home versus away versus the types of defenses that you're attacking?
It's a great question. I think it's a really good question, and I think it's not only just because we play at home, we played with two strikers, or I always look into account of what the opponent poses us. What problems do they pose us, right? So, and then we take the video into account. We take form of training into account. So we have to reward guys who feel that they're pushing us and really asking hard questions. So and Gio was one of those guys. In training he worked really hard. I think he complements Klaus really well. So, how do we now incorporate with an inform Rasmus Alm, an inform or, an ever improving Thomas Ostrach, so Joachini. So now we have different guys with different tools who can sort of stress backlines in different ways. So that's what we look into. What's the best possible, the most possible stress we can induce on the opponent? And it might be one striker, it might be two. It could be depending on the way they build out, it could be depending on the personnel, could be depending on the individual athlete we're coming up against, So that it's all the, sort of game planning and sitting in behind, when you guys are home. That's when we get to play our game plans.
Bradley, what have you seen from RSL so far? From looking at their highlights, it looks like they're dangerous in set pieces, especially Justin Glad. So wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, there's a few guys, the Glad and Demir Krylak, So these two guys, obviously Salt Lake, we know the ball flies different. We've taken all that into account, and we're making sure that we don't fall asleep there. So listen, set pieces is always a tricky one, right? So we know they're very dangerous. We know in transition with Savarino, I'm not sure if he's available, due to personal reasons. He could be an availability. So which again, down the left-hand side, he can come up in multiple positions, and he's a 1v1 danger. So Gomez on the right side, very quick in transition, a very athletic player, young, hungry, dynamic. So I think there's some interesting pieces that they have. Lufusent in the midfield there, he's very active. He's a box-to-box guy, and they have a lot of attributes that we like. And in transition, they can definitely hurt you.
We got time for two more. We'll go back to Tom.
And just as this start has gone on, have you heard from a lot of people, whether in Germany or South Africa, or just people you've known over the years, reaching out to either congratulate you or marvel at this team's start?
Yeah, I try and not open the door to that, because you don't want to dream away when it's going well. You like and soak up all the attention. You know what I mean? So obviously there's the close contacts and close people and close connections. And obviously I acknowledge everyone that reached out, because they've taken time to reach out and wish us well. But this week was surprisingly quiet, which is a good thing. It kind of keeps us, or keeps me grounded and know there's still nothing done, nothing achieved, and we can't really, 4-0 is something, but we arrive back in the office striving for 5-0. I mean, it's just another game, and I almost want to look at the table every single day after match day or before match day 1, because we had 0 points and we're at the bottom, and I like striving to get to somewhere. So this is the kind of mentality for the group at the moment, that we're always looking up. So right now we might be up, but we're still looking up, because we know the season is long and there's still, 30 match days.
And is Bell ready? Could Bell go 90 minutes if you needed him?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So he's had a decent week of training, and he's definitely an option.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time.
All righty. Thank you. All right.
So Edu, what have you heard from a lot of people over these last 4 weeks, of people back in Germany, who, whether teammates with, whatever, saying, wow, what a start you guys are having?
I would say also just the closest contacts. I'm keeping my circle very, very small. So for sure. I mean, as I mentioned before, many of my family and people from my hometown are getting up at night, 2:30 or something, setting an alarm, and then they are watching the game. So everybody there is very excited, and
What have these first 4 weeks of the season been like for you, as this kind of snowball has picked up speed here with this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in the beginning we didn't know how the start is going to be, and then we won the first game, the second game, the third game, and then after the third game, obviously the goal was to be the first expansion team to win the first 4 games, and there's a lot of excitement in the city, and as the coach mentioned, we try to stay humble and to stay hungry, and I think now for me we have the opportunity to extend that winning streak even longer. So I think we have to take this opportunity, try to win the 5th game, the 6th game, and just keep going like that.
What do you think have been the keys that have allowed you guys to get off to this start?
Yeah, I think that we are, as I said, we have a lot of good individual players, but also we have a great team. We have a whole city behind us, everybody's supporting us, and there's a great atmosphere in the team, and not only the players, not only the coaches, but all the people who are working in the club. There's a very, very nice atmosphere, and I think that makes it easier, makes it great, and we are just a very good team. And I mean, the first 3 games we were always 1 goal down, and we always came back, and I think that says something about the mentality of this group.
So far, 4 games regular season, also 6 games preseason. Can you talk about the league? Is it what you expected so far, and the level of play?
Yeah, I mean, it's as I always said, it's a very good league, and especially over the last couple of years, it was getting better and better, and so many good players are coming here, even young players. So I think the MLS is a great league for sure. I didn't expect it to be so physical. So when I came here, I don't know, we had in Germany maybe once a week in the gym, and here we are starting before every training in the gym. So that was for sure a difference for me. And also, I think technically there are a lot of good players. So I think this is really a good league.
So you've shown a real strong propensity to be able to play deep and move forward in that attack, kind of like a full spine player. So how do you approach moving up and down in the field? Is it per matchup? Do you just kind of get a sense for how the flow is going?
Yeah, I mean, in Portland, I played on the 10. The coach put me a little bit more in front. I like it to play more, have more freedom that I don't have to stay like in, different spots, that I can, choose on my own, have more freedom, can go like box to box. That's what I like, and obviously to have the ball a lot and as much as possible and try to control the game. I think that's the style I want to play.
Edu, that first game, obviously a lot of emotions in Austin. You feel like you guys are the new kids on the block. Then you start winning. You win some more. Now you're at the top of the table. At what point do you feel like the rest of the league, has a target on you guys to finally be the first to beat you guys? Do you guys feel like you have that target on your back after 4 wins?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's different. I think in the first game, nobody expected anything from us. Everybody expected us to end the season on the last place. I don't know if people expect us now to win the league. But it doesn't matter in the end, We didn't care about what people said before, and we also don't care about that now. We are just focused on ourselves and try to take the best possible out of the season. I think we have a lot of quality, but it's not like that we go into games now and think like we have to win the league. I think we have to go step by step, and the season is so long, and I think it helps us to kind of like just focus from game to game. That's what we did before, and that's what we want to do in the next couple of games as well. And then I think we have a great season ahead.
And it seemed like, as I think back to training camp in Florida, it seemed like even then you guys had a certain confidence about you. Is that accurate? Were you guys from the early stages thinking, we can compete, we can do this?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even the first game against Philly was pretty good, and also the other games. Even if we lost, let's say for example against LA, the second half we lost 4-1. But in the preseason, it doesn't really matter. But it was kind of a secret for us as well, and we were also like excited and wanted to look how the season goes, because I mean against Miami we won 4-1. But it's always tough to say something about results and preseason. But I think now we can see that we can compete with everybody, that we can keep up with everybody, and that we don't have to hide. But in the end of the day, as I always say, now we have to keep going this way, because it can go down very, very quickly. If we think now we don't need to push that hard anymore.
How do you feel about the depth of this team? You're at a time now, a couple guys gone on national team duties, injuries popping up, but it looks like competition-wise within the team, there are plenty of guys available.
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, we have a lot of great players, even players who didn't play yet. I mean, also Pijo, for example, who didn't play a minute yet, but he's a very good player, and I think his time will come as well. Akil came into the game, made it very good. Miggy as a young player, you know, and we have so many good players. As the coach mentioned, now the last game, even if he didn't score, but Samuel, for example, he was so important in the last game when he won so many tackles, you know. And Nico came into the starting 11, made it very well, and I think we have a lot of good players, and that's a very good thing, and also very important because of this long season.
Are you just having fun right now?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, and when the game is finished, I'm looking forward already for the next game. So it's a lot of fun, and we are just enjoying this moment.
Anyone else? Brendan?
To Tom's point about the depth, how integral have the training sessions been? Because they've looked incredibly spirited. That's got to help foster some of that depth, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody's giving 100% in training because everybody wants to defend his starting 11 spot or even wants to come in the starting 11. So I think we have a lot of great players, and that's very good also for the opponents. You know that they are, you know that they can't focus just on 2-3 players, and that's very important for sure.
You mentioned the teams handling the pressure and the undefeated start well. How about you as an individual? So you've gotten your own individual accolades, player of the week, you know, leading the top of the league in goal contributions. How do you handle that kind of increased spotlight that you're getting after you're performing so well to start?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm very thankful to God that I'm healthy, that I can play the last weeks, that I was 2 times in the team of the week. I didn't expect the season to start like this, to win 4 games and to have these scorer points. I'm very, very thankful for that, first of all. And otherwise, it means, of course, something to me, but it gives me motivation, but it doesn't, you know, push me like I think I'm something special now or I have to change something, you know. And in the end of the day, I'm also very thankful to the team, you know, because in the end of the day, I can't take these performances without my team. And so I'm just enjoying this moment. I'm very thankful for that, but I know that it's always very, very important to stay on the ground, stay humble. So there's nothing to push too hard, yeah.
Anyone else? Good? Edu, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.